there is a huge impact on Stamford from two factors. The first one is the A1, and the second one is the proximity to Peterborough, as in fairness to some extent Bourne and the Deepings do, but more so with Stamford as a location of choice for Peterborough and surrounding area residents to come to socialise. So I think as we've come out of the pandemic restrictions, what we're seeing more and more of is around licensed premises and social behaviour and crime that's linked to those licensed premises, public places, public spaces, and it does come. The offenders, the people who we are enforcing against in Stamford are by volume predominantly coming from the Peterborough and surrounding areas. The second crime area is the A1, and this has not changed. We saw a reduction during the pandemic period, but historically we are seeing offenders from all over the country who use the A1 will come off at Stamford, will cause typically overnight a short crime series, so they will go into perhaps a particular housing estate, sometimes as tight as a single street, and cause a number of offences, whether that be theft from motor vehicle, theft of motor vehicle, and sometimes burglary, sometimes commercial offences against commercial premises. But that's quite a unique characteristic for Stamford that isn't quite the same for Bourne or for the Deepings, to be fair. In terms of antisocial behaviour, I don't think that there's anything of great note. I suppose for Stamford, I would highlight the Meadows as an area. It's really difficult because when you've got a successful and vibrant public space, inevitably at the periphery, you've got elements of antisocial behaviour, you've got elements of criminality, public space criminality, public order offences. So it's really difficult because by being successful, I think on the periphery you get this kind of offending. So I have to say there is nothing in terms of a broader community safety issue that I would want to raise for your concern in Stamford, Bourne and the Deepings. Thank you. I'd agree that Stamford has a fantastic atmosphere, and what we've seen coming out of the pandemic is quite positive and very useful. I mean, if we look at the nighttime economy as a whole, rather than just purely the policing, that official, that recognised, that uniformed presence does make a difference, and it does reduce the level of public space offending. But there's more to it. So if we look at the licensing arrangements, working with licensed premises, in Stamford, it's actually really, really strong, really positive that we've got responsible licensees acting in a way, for example, around preventing drug supply, using the technology, using the behaviours, using the challenging that occurs. That's good practice, and Stamford has taken that on board. But in terms of a presence in the town on a Friday and Saturday night, again, I'll commit to what we can reasonably achieve, but it's not just policing. So we do see that street pastors, that the third sector, that charities who are working as a recognised and reassuring presence works really well in other parts of the force and nationally. Equally, having door staff arrangements, the licensees I think are already there. That having responsible licensing in Stamford is already to a good standard. But door staff and other visible presence, I think that there are potentially things that we can work on. If I'm not going to be offensive, but I'm going to say policing can be a blunt tool. That if we think that policing is the only answer, then it simply isn't. And actually, if our focus is on prevention, it doesn't just have to be on enforcement. And there are a number of steps that can be taken. I would be gladly to work with the town council, continue to work with the town council in fairness, around the measures that can be taken in Stamford to make the nighttime economy a safer place to be. But I think you started from a really good position already. The risks from a policing perspective in Stamford on a Friday and Saturday night are drug related and Peterborough related.